What should be a pretty simple video, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. Certainly the biggest trade we've seen in League of Legends scene for quite some time now. That being Doublelift confirmed away from Liquid and moving to TSM. There was a huge talking point yesterday. We already touched on that. We'll touch on it again at the end of today's video. That being the obvious issue, if you want to call it that, of TSM Leena being their active president and Doublelift joining TSM. I feel like a few people watch these videos and before they even hear me out, they think just because of a title and a thumbnail that I think there's going to be an issue or there was an issue. I never said there was, never said there was going to be. It's the potential problems that, yes, a player dating a president could cause. So I'm not saying that he tampered in any way. I'm not saying he joined TSM for a certain reason. Certainly it's already going to be a great roster, a roster he wanted to play with. It's the potential cause of problems in the future that I am worried about. So we'll see what happens in the next year, next 2 years, what's going to happen with this roster if anything doesn't unfold. Either way, though, no matter what esports team, no matter what esports player, if you are dating someone you actually work for, it's a weird circumstance. Hopefully you guys can actually understand that side of things. Besides all of that, Doublelift has now explained his reason as to why he left Liquid for TSM. I thought it was a great video. I'll link the full thing down below for all of you guys. To sum it up in a short few points, firstly, he touched on his motivational issues. That being the reason they actually started the season, and him having those motivational issues initially was based around Xmithy. He wanted to keep him, the team did not, and so to start the season off, he kind of felt a little bit bitter about that, and that's where the initial motivational issues did stem from. He does not blame Broxa as the problem. He just felt he was the only one who wanted to keep Xmithy. The team did not, and thus they did not heading into the first season. Now, of course, when it led to his benching, there was motivational issues, there was a sickness alongside other things. Doublelift points out that apparently his teammates were not being direct with him. They were telling the coach those things that apparently were not passed on to Doublelift until he was benched. That's when he finally received his feedback. So he felt that if they were more direct, he of course did not feel that him being benched was going to correct those issues. He needed to hear those issues to his face in order to correct them, but instead they benched him anyway. Of course, he evidently does come back to that roster. He felt his teammates were still not over it though, and that's what eventually leads to his movement to TSM. He does clarify he wanted to stick it out with Liquid, and Steve, I'm sure you guys know who Steve is. Apparently, Steve and Doublelift both wanted the same thing, for him to stick it out with Liquid, but like I said before, with Doublelift stating the teammates he felt were not over all of his issues beforehand, he then eventually gave his list to Steve. TSM was on that list, and shortly afterwards, he wanted to go to TSM. Huge props, by the way, to a guy like Steve. If you guys were not aware of this, Travis Gafford, Mark, other people and figures in the scene have talked about this. Yeah, Steve could have given Doublelift away to anyone who wanted that contract. It could have been to a trash team. It could have been to any team across the sea, but he gave Doublelift that list, or that option to give him a list as well, and TSM just so happened to be on that list. Now let's get to the most important part about this, the juice, the beef, whatever you want to call it. I thought Doublelift did a great job explaining what a few people's fears out there were. No, he did not throw away his entire split just to ruin his reputation, just so he could actually want to be traded, or the team would want to trade him to a team like TSM. But yeah, we already knew that. Yes, it was also not because of Leena that he joined TSM. It was because mainly of Bjerg and Bio, who he wanted to play with yet again, and the roster at TSM already looking very solid, which, yeah, that makes sense. Like I said before at the beginning of the video, guys, I never accused him of tampering. I never accused him of joining TSM only for Leena. I accused the entire situation of being a conflict of interest and a problem, because if you compare this to any other esports scene out there, this kind of thing has never happened before. So I'm not saying he did tamper to get himself traded. I'm not saying there's going to be a problem with Leena being there and him being preferentially treated compared to other players. I'm saying the overall problem is the potential for that to happen, and it would be super weird. I know this might sound weird, but because it's Leena dating Doublelift, people like to overlook this as, oh, it's okay, it's normal. And I really do want to stress, like I talked about in yesterday's video, when they first got together, they probably should have, if they did not, I'd be surprised they didn't, they probably should have known, okay, some people are going to make jokes. This could be a cause of issue in the future because I am a president of one of the top esports organizations in the world, and you are a player who evidently could eventually be playing for me or under me. Yes, it's weird. Guys, imagine Jack Etienne. This is an example. This is fiction, just so you guys make note of that. Imagine Jack Etienne dating one of his female players. It would be weird. Imagine pictures out there or videos out there of Jack making out with one of his players. It would be weird. People would joke about it. People would also be concerned about it potentially causing issues of Jack giving that said player preferential treatment. That's the overall point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Doublelift or Leena. I wish them the best of luck. They should have known this was coming, though. I do wish Doublelift the best of luck because I feel like it's sad this entire thing is taken away from such a big move. TSM is a stacked roster. Like Doublelift said, this should be a world's contending roster. I wish them the best of luck. I hope this controversy subsides and does not cause any future issues. This is why Doublelift has joined TSM. It was not for Leena. It was for the boys. It was for the roster, which still is a deadly roster. Let's see if they can prove to be deadly this upcoming split. Until next time, take care. Drink your Wawa, drink your coffee. Okay, bye.